Is wearing a belt every day as part of your everyday carry, your EDC, more of an essential item than you might even realize? Let's talk about it. My name is Kyle. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we're going to talk about some belts, and not just any belt, but a belt that I've worn for 6 months now, every single day, everywhere I go. My name is Kyle. Thank you for tuning in today. And today we're going to talk about belts, and not just any belt, but one that I've worn for 6 months straight, every single day, all over the country, all through my travels here with the channel. I've tested a lot of belts in the past. I've done a bunch of reviews on belts in the past. I've worn a couple of belts for several years at a time. Now, whether that be something where it's a Cobra style buckle that I've seen and used in the past for many years, and then before that, I was probably like you, hunting for that perfect leather belt with the best buckle, with a material that'll hold up, especially when you think about carrying a firearm or hanging some type of gear or clicking a knife on there, depending on what type of clip you use for carrying a knife. All that kind of comes into play when shopping around for a belt. And of course, the core of all of this, see what I did there? The core of all of this is, how does a belt feel? Is it comfortable? Does it do what I need to do? And that's why we're going to discuss today the Core Essentials Tactical Nylon Gun Belt in Ranger Green with the X7 buckle. Can we beat 306 all A zone? Let's see. Find out, shall we? Oh, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Better grouping. 2, 6, 4. Like I mentioned, I've had this particular belt on me every single day, just about, for about 6 months, since I think I picked it up back in September. I reached out to the guys at Core, so full disclosure, I asked them if they could send me a belt to test out. I was kind of in the mood to try to do something a little bit different this year, and the mechanism that is used in these belts is unlike any other mechanism I've seen from a buckle standpoint. Now, I mentioned that Cobra buckles, especially the mini Cobras, are fantastic. I love them, but the adjustability is lacking depending on if you need the adjustability, and that's something to discuss here in this review. But the Core Essentials belt has these different types of belt buckles that click right onto the nylon gun belt. I did the X7 in black, but there's a bunch of different colors. Running this belt at the range and carrying concealed every single day has not been a problem with this belt. In fact, there's some accessories we're going to talk about in a second that make it even easier to carry with this belt. But of course, the belt has a lot of pros to it, but we're going to mention some cons as well. Overall, comfort, that kind of level you're looking for with a belt every day. You want something that's not going to bug you, all right? You don't want something that's not going to irritate you or cut into your skin, and you need something that has the expandable type of mechanism, whether it be a Velcro option or in this case, a click type of buckle option. We'll show you up close here in a second. You want something that kind of makes it so you can adjust whether you have a big meal ahead of you or if you're carrying a different type of firearm in front of you, appendix, or at 5 o'clock, whatever you're trying to do with your concealed carry, you want to make sure you have the room and adjustability to do so, and also enough length, which is good because these are actually set up to pretty much fit most, essentially, right? So these belts range from 24 inches all the way to 54 inches, and it comes where you just cut off the end, trim it with a knife, and you can clip on your buckle of choice that you chose at checkout. And that being said, like I said, the X7 is pretty modern. I kind of liked it, a little sleek. I had a leather belt and still do from Core Essentials with the same mechanism with a different buckle, and that's more of a professional setting type of buckle and belt set up with that leather, but it still has that essential core inside of the belt that allows you to have that stiffening characteristic to make sure the belt is nice and stiff, and that way whenever you're hanging something on it, you know that it's not going to droop, it's not going to flop around very much. You need that core. Normal belts that are like nylon or leather, if you can do this to them, you know that you're going to have a problem because it's going to start drooping forward if you're hanging something on it like a holster, IWB, or it's going to start drooping down. So you need some rigid type of material in there within the belt to really hold it up. And that's of course what Core does and puts in these belts. Core calls that center support material that's inside the belt wrapped in nylon or wrapped in leather. They're reinforced power core center. That's essentially most likely some type of blend of polymer and carbon that allows it to have that rigidity but still have some flexibility, which is good. You want to see that in a belt that you're going to be wearing every day for concealed carry. Now, before we even jump into showing you the belt on me right now, the one I've been wearing for 6 months, let me show you what you get in the box. So the box is simply a small box shipped right to your door. It's really not that bad. This one I did opt for some accessories, and I've used them in the past. This right here actually has the belt hanger. So this little guy is simply just a Core Essentials hanger. It's designed to go and click into the buckles themselves. You hang 3 belts on there. Kind of see that like that. Now, I mentioned in one of my, I think, YouTube shorts as well as Instagram reels there that I forgot to put this on the day that I was testing it at the range for you guys actually on camera. But with that, these are our little keepers that are for the ends, the tips of the belt. You want to have this on as a keeper. And then also the other thing that I haven't really used much, but I might start using it more. This is actually something that protects the belt, which I haven't had a problem with protecting the nylon. It seems pretty sturdy. This is actually the belt protector sleeve, which goes around the front. So you can go, if you have especially metal clips, which I usually use polymer, but if you have metal clips, you can use the metal clips to kind of click on the sides here, and this will help with the wear and tear of removing and putting back on your clips back and forth on your belt. The keeper is really good though, because depending on how wide apart your loops are on your shorts, which every pair of shorts seem to be different, these little keepers might help with that tip kind of flopping around at the end there. These are the 2 accessories that come with it, and of course instructions, and then you also have some spare hardware to get that buckle in place when you're locking that thing down. So without further ado, let's go take a look at my waist. Well, just look at the belt. Just look at the belt. Core Essentials tactical nylon gun belt with their patented ratcheting system. See all these ratchet points here. Well, simply goes back and forth like so. Releases right here. It is a simple button. Can I see that? And the keeper is installed on this side because this tip does like to go a little wild sometimes. So you might want that keeper to kind of keep this out from pushing your shirt on your left side, which is what this is going to show you here. Push that out a little bit, so this way it kind of tucks it in. And you can kind of put it right on the end, because once this belt is on, it is not going anywhere, and anything on the belt is not going anywhere. Trust me, from experience. And this is kind of how it's going to be set up here. Release button right here is on the X7. Release button is going to always be on the bottom. All right, that's how it's designed. Here's how it clamps on. A lot of belts, I mean, even dating back to like Boy Scouts and stuff, have a clamp like this, except this one has some torsion screws on there to really kind of clamp it down. But there's a claw mechanism in there that bites on that leather on the inside. The ratcheting is part of that core that we mentioned here. You can kind of see the nylon stitch on this side, as well as a leather with a rubber kind of seal on each side here. All right, there's a ratcheting points, real tough, right? That's kind of the little glimpse of the core there, and that's something where you're not going to worry about these getting jacked up, because this is metal on that plastic type of material on the core there. How I put this on every single day, and by the way, I did trim it to 42, if you can see that there. See the numbers on the back? Reason being, I wanted to have a lot of extra room, not from eating pizza, but for choosing different types of handguns on there, and you want to make sure you have enough room to utilize this to the full potential. So don't cut it too short, don't cut it to pant size, leave a few inches on there. So what I do every single day, put this on, little button here, the release for the ratcheting system is on the bottom. There's a little bit of play on the buckle, so something to note there. Put the keeper on. There's also that sleeve you can put on as well if you choose to do so. Start on your left side, because that ratcheting release button is on the bottom every single time. It's an easy way to make sure you put it on the right way every single time. I guess there's really not a right or wrong way, but that is how the belt is designed for the button on the bottom. Because if the buckle has this on top here, you might have it digging into your stomach, so have that release on the bottom. Now, right all the way through, Simply click, and if you're in the bathroom at Lowe's, you hear this, you know, hey, Core Buddy's next door. It's the weirdest thing. Airports, bathrooms, I'll hear this click and it'll be like, oh wow, someone has a Core. Public restrooms, man. It's always an adventure. So tighten it down however you want. All right, you can actually leave it a little bit loose if you want for putting your handgun on. I sometimes do just the keeper right here, but the keeper also can fit under a loop pretty easily. But a lot of times the loop, if I don't have a keeper, the loop will hold it down right there. You want to have about 6 inches or so of clearance here for dual clips for in the waistband, or if you have a single holster, it's gonna be much easier. Buckle goes and slides to the right. Typically I stop it right at the first loop, just like so, and you can still have access to click, or you can release with that button right there, loosen it up. Now, taking a handgun, already unloaded, Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. My go-to, because it has your 10+1 with a little pinky extension on there, which I find to be very comfortable, and it doesn't stick out as much when you're looking at it from poking at a shirt. In fact, the whole thing folds flat pretty well because the belt is very flat. You can have a spare mag here, which is 13 rounders. All you're gonna do, slide in your holster. Right clip goes all the way, butting up against the buckle. Left clip comes down. And there you go, like so. Probably could have slid this over a little bit more, but there you go. And this is how I pretty much carry every single day. Shirt is over. Take a look at this. Kind of see how it's gonna form to your stomach. If you have a flatter stomach, I mean, hey, that's what this is good for. It's gonna conform to your body. Shirt drapes over. Drawing. You can kind of see this ain't going anywhere. Go to reload. Again, this ain't going anywhere. If you do have an active live firearm, you want to go, I like to pivot this out a little bit. Make sure the trigger guard is clear. No accidents there. But this is how it is. This is how it rides. This core buckle system with the ratchet system in it is very strong. There's no real reports of it ever failing. I think you'd really have to pull a lot of weight on this to shred those teeth on the ratchet, right? That being said, one of the really cool things about a sturdy, strong belt like this as part of your EDC is for maybe a survival type of tool, hanging stuff, lashing something together, possible tourniquet like any other belt could be. If you can get it nice and tight. And this seems to fit the bill for a lot of those scenarios. So that's it right here. And then when you're done at the end of the day, you can simply just unclip your holster and go about your business. Quality, made in America belt with that nice click to it. And here's the little keeper there on the side. You can kind of see it's nice and flat. It's going to remain its proper shape over time. All these months later, you can kind of see a little bit of fraying on here. And that is, I guess, we talked a lot about the positives of this belt, and there are really a lot of them, but a couple of negatives would be if you go and upgrade to a belt like this. Just know that it's fine to wear every day, and it is. I've worn it every day, whether you're carrying or not, but it is a rigid belt. It's something where it's not as comfortable as a soft leather. It's not as comfortable as even like a just standard soft nylon belt. So you have to understand what you're getting this belt for. Maybe you can just have this for concealed carry, but you can still wear it every day. But I do find if you're doing yard work or running or something like that, just know that this is not going to be as comfortable as other options, but it's a purpose-built belt. And this technology, which is why I chose this belt buckle right here, that X7 is one of the flatter options for the belt buckles. Now, if you're using this for tucking your shirt in or something, this might not be the buckle for you. It's going to be something where you want something a little more ornate, probably. If you're going to do this, but you might want to have Ranger green tucked in with your suit. But that's why they have the leather and other colors. That being said, it does look really nice. It's a form factor. I use this exactly for what I needed it for, which was concealed carry. So with that, it's something where it's not gonna be a dressy belt. It's not gonna be designed for comfort for running all the time and all that. But everything's held up great. No issues beyond just the use cases of it. Know exactly what you're getting it for, what you need it for, and it really is a good everyday belt. So I'm gonna give the Core Essentials Ranger Green Tactical Nylon Gun Belt 9 out of 10 cheesy gordita crunches.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you.
And everything you've seen in this video will be down below. If you have any questions about this belt, if you have any other options you want to look into from Core, hit them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, thank you so much for watching. Train hard. You never know what's coming. Wear this belt, dry fire at home. You don't have to train at the range all the time with this belt on, or maybe you can't. Maybe there's indoor ranges you can't draw from. Well, do some dry firing at home. Just train with it. It's gonna make a world of difference. Just repetition, practice, 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 get that muscle memory going. Take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that matter. We'll see you guys in the next review.